All rise. We will obey. Please be seated.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Thank you very much. Witness, well, Ms. Zago, we're in open session.
Thank you, Your Honor. Witness, I'd like to clarify something that we discussed at the end of the previous session. You told the court that the distance between location number 1 and location number 2 was 500 kilometers, and that it took you 10 minutes to get from one location to the other. I just want to clarify something. There appears to be some discrepancy between the distance and that you mentioned and the time that took you to go through that distance. I just wanted to be sure that you meant 500 kilometers.
I did not mean 500 kilometers, but I said that the distance could be from 500 meters onwards to any distance up to nearly a mile.
Is it about meters versus kilometers?
It must be. It is not 1 kilometer from where, from I think it is less than a kilometer, but not 500 meters.
So, 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
Kilometers.
Not.
Thank you for the clarification. Before the break again, at page 59 of your transcripts, you said that at location number 5, you saw so many houses being burned. Can you give us an estimate of that, if you can?
It could be between 10 and 20. Between 10 and 20. Because I did not go throughout the village, I only went to some places.
Witness, remember we are back in public session, and also remember to use location numbers or person numbers. Okay?
Thank you, yes.
Witness, you also said before the break that you saw Kalenjin attacking, or sorry, pardon me, you saw Kalenjin descending to location number 6.
Yes, I saw them descending from location number 6. Sorry? Yes, I saw them move from location 3 to location 6. Location 2, yes. There's a confusion, sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Where did you see the Kalenjin coming from and descending to location number 6?
They were coming from location 3.
And what time of the day was it that you saw them coming down from location number 3?
It was after 11 a.m. I don't remember the exact time, but it was after 11 a.m.
And we saw them coming down to location number 6. Please, again, be careful and, if necessary, the PIS.
I was in location 1 when I saw them descend from 3 to location 6.
And did you know what happened at location number 6 after the Kalenjin had descended upon that location?
After the location 2 to location 6, the houses were burnt at location 6. Houses were started touching. They started touching houses.
And how do you know the houses at location number 6?
You could see smoke. Location 1, you could see smoke at location 6.
One from location number 6.
It is between 500 and 800 meters from location number 1.
And apart from seeing being burned from your location, did you learn anything else about the attack?
Yes, I learned that a person was killed during the burning of the houses.
How did you learn about the killing of this person? And again, if necessary, resort to the use of the PIS.
I was told person number 5.
Private session.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Proceed.
What time of the day persons number 5A and B arrive at location number 6?
It was in the morning around 11 a.m.
And when they returned, what did they tell you?
When they returned home, At around is when they told me about this. 2 p.m.
And what did they specifically tell you about the events at location number 6?
They told me a band in that location number 6, and that one person, number 4, was killed.
And what ethnicity was person number 4?
Is a Kikuyu.
And how was he killed?
He was slashed with a panga.
Did they tell you how many houses were burned at location number 6?
They didn't tell me the number of the houses, but they said many houses were burned.
And do you know what happened to the body of person number 4?
The body of person number 4 was discovered 3 days after the fighting, and it had no hands, it had no ribs, the hands.
Do you know what they did with the body after discovering it?
After discovering the body, it was taken to Moi Referral Hospital mortuary.
Do you know why they took the body there?
The body was taken there for post-mortem, awaiting burial.
Was a post-mortem eventually conducted?
The family told me the post-mortem could not be performed because there were so many bodies, and that they were told there was no time for that.
Did it specify to whom those bodies belong to at the hospital?
They did not specify which ethnicity the bodies belonged to, but there were many dead bodies at the hospital mortuary.
I'd like now to go back to something that you mentioned before the break this morning. More specifically, to page number 55 of the transcripts, where you mentioned that the kalenjing that you saw at location number 2 at location number 3 were used to sit at location number 3. What did you mean by used to sit?
I mean, they used to be at location 3, ready to go down to either location 6 or location 5 or even location 1 for attacks.
And were they sitting in a particular place at that location that you could see?
This were in 3 positions. Some were sitting at location number 1, a group of between 50 and 100. The other group would sit at location 5, a group of almost the same number of people. And the other one would sit at location number 6, on top of the hill. This is why we are referring to now location 3, the hills.
So were they sitting on an open space?
All the 3 spaces are open spaces.
Did you observe the groups doing anything before descending upon the 3 locations?
You could not see them doing anything. They were just seated there. It is far. You could not hear if they were singing or whatever they were doing. You could see them there ready to go down to either of the locations and attack.
Again, before the break, you mentioned...
One second, please. Is there any significance to the verb sit? We need to clarify that for the record.
Witness, could you please clarify for the court what you mean by the verb sitting, that the Kalenjin were sitting?
By sitting, I mean they were either seated down or they were standing, waiting to be given either orders where to go and attack.
To more or less positioned there. Is that what you mean? So when you say sit, it does not necessarily mean they were physically sitting down on the ground or something.
Exactly. I don't mean they were sitting down.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before the break, you also said that the Kalenjin would be instructed to go down to the different locations, and I'm referring at page 58. I don't have the line with me, but it's at the middle of the page for my learned friend if he has to check the reference. My question to you is, instructed by whom?
Their movements would show that there was somebody in control, either through a phone or a signal that we could not understand. Because no group would move from location 1 to any other place while the other groups move. There's only one group which would move, the other two waiting. When this one is done with, another group would go down. That system would mean somebody was either in control or a phone was being used.
Is that your conclusion, or were you told about this by someone?
I'm not told by anybody. This is what I think.
Do you know why the groups would come down and then return back to the locations that they had come from?
After accomplishing their mission, that is burning the houses, they would go back, or if they are, let me say, if they are overpowered from downwards, they don't continue burning. They run back to the position where they had come from. If they are overpowered by those down in the village by throwing stones at them, if they are overpowered, they go back to location number 3 or number 1. And then the other group would move. If that one is back, another one would be organized to go down. That system.
And did you observe these movements yourself from your position?
Yes, I observed the movement very well.
When they would return to their original location, would they go to a specific place? Would they congregate in a specific place?
After accomplishing their mission, they would go for their meals. They used to take their meals in the house of person number 3.
Mr. President, can I ask to go in private session to elicit follow-up questions on this individual? Thank you.
Private session.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
At the end of that day, the day you just described for us, where did you sleep?
That day is 31st December 2007. I slept in my house at location 1.
And what did you do the morning after?
Morning after, my wife had come from town. And I escorted her up to Huruma.
So am I understanding you correctly that your wife had come back to location number 1 from town?
That is division of police.
And what time of the day was it when she arrived at location number 1?
It was very early in the morning, between 8:30, say between 7 and 8:30.
At that time, can you describe the state of your property and your house?
That day, 31st December 2007, my property were secure, they were safe, nothing had happened. She came home, collected some of the things she required from the house, and took them with her to Eldoret Division 1 headquarters. I escorted her up to Huruma. We could only walk because there was no transport. We footed up to Huruma, and when she got transport, I started going back. Before I escorted her to Huruma, we passed by the Huruma village. Huruma village is on our right as we move towards town. There is a field which has not been built. And at the side of that field, there is a Catholic church. And after the Catholic church, there is a field, an open field. In that open field, we could see human bodies being eaten by pigs and dogs. Me and my wife wondered, but we could not go there. We saw about 3 bodies. Very fearful. And after escorting her up to where I have said, on coming back, I found that many people had gathered around that area. Kikuyu youths had put a roadblock at Huruma. So the police were trying to remove the obstacles on the road. And we had a chance to go into that field and see these 3 dead bodies. On seeing how the pigs and dogs were feeding on them, we moved further and saw another 3 bodies. After seeing these 3 bodies, this when we came back and we met police trying to remove the obstacles. I asked the police, why are you removing the obstacles instead of transporting these dead bodies to the mortuary? They said they were tired of collecting dead bodies. I didn't know what that meant, and we left it that way. I went back to my village, location 1. Before I reached there is another center called Roadblock. There I also met youths who had barricaded the road by putting logs, drums, and many other things on the road. And between the road it was written ODM zone only. After leaving the zone, ODM zone, there ahead I found a dead body of a person. I don't know when he was killed. I could not wait. It was very fearsome. There ahead I remember meeting people, these youths on the roads who belonged to the ODM. I was aware they were going to tell me to identify myself. So I hid my identifications in my socks together with my phone. I got to them. They told me to identify myself. I told them my identification was stolen together with my phones and everything. What was left is this 100 shillings which did not come out with those things. When I showed them the mother, he took the man and told him, "We will go ahead." That is what happened after escorting my wife.
Thank you, witness. I'd like to take you back to the beginning of your narrative for some clarifications. So what time of the day you and your wife left location number 1 to return or to escort your wife to town?
It was very early in the morning, between 7 and 8. These were the times when the warriors are not there. So one has to come early. She came early. She finished what she was doing. I had to escort her before the warriors come.
Just to be clear, which warriors are you referring to now?
Kalenjin warriors.
And you said that you went with your wife to Huruma. What is Huruma?
Huruma is adjacent to location 7. Adjacent. The dividing factor there is the main road. Huruma is a sub-location, and the other one, location 7, is a sub-location. So the main road to Uganda, this Great North Road, is the only boundary between location 7 and Huruma. Yes.
What was the other name you called the main road to Uganda?
This is the road which leaves Eldoret town, travels on to Uganda.
For the record, you had used a specific terminology, and we want to make sure it's recorded on the transcript. Did you say Great North?
Yeah, Great North Road.
Right.
From Cape Town to Cairo.
Was it really from Cape Town to Cairo?
I am made to understand it that not even.
How long did it take you to get to Huruma from location number 1?
It took about half an hour.
And the bodies that you mentioned, dead bodies that you mentioned having seen on the road, did you recognize them?
No, I did not recognize them. They were strangers, bodies of strangers.
You also mentioned a first roadblock.
Yes.
What was the purpose of that roadblock?
All vehicles could not move through that road. There were no vehicles moving. The roadblocks were so many, erected by youths.
Which youths are you referring to now?
I'm referring to Huruma. They were Kikuyu youths who had erected those roadblocks. Were Kalenjins, Luyas and Luos.
Let's take the Huruma roadblock.
Yes.
Who erected the Huruma roadblock?
These were Kikuyu youths.
Why did they do that? What was the purpose of having that roadblock there?
The purpose was stopping movement of vehicles. And people who are viewed to be of Kalenjin warriors or the Waluya and the Luos.
Why did they want to stop their movements?
The movements were meant to prevent the warriors from getting into Huruma and destroy the property.
Just to clarify, did you stop at that Huruma roadblock?
Yes, I was stopped. Questioned where I was going. I was told I should not go anywhere. I should remain where I stay and fight when I'm there. Told them I was only escorting my wife and then going back where I stay. I was allowed to pass.
And then, in which direction did you go?
I went back towards home.
What happened to your wife?
She got means of transport and she went to Eldoret Divisional Police Station.
And on your way back to location number 1, what happened?
That is, when I was going back, I saw many people and I was encouraged to join them, and we went to the field where I had seen 3 bodies, and we went beyond that and found other 3 bodies.
Who were these people that you met and encouraged you to go with them to the field?
I did not know them, but there were many people who were eager to know how many people are there in that field, or how many people have been killed in that field.
Did you know to whom the 3 dead bodies you found belonged to?
No, I did not know.
Did you know how they died?
Some had panga cuts, the others no sign, which would mean that we were beaten by a blunt object. But the bodies were already destroyed by the dogs and the pigs.
Did you know which ethnicity they were?
No, I did not know.
And after having seen these bodies, what did you do?
It was when we went to the tarmac, that is the main road, where we met the police removing the roadblock placed by the Kikuyu youths.
You've explained your meeting with the police here.
Yes.
What did you do after having passed a roadblock?
After leaving the police, and they told us that they cannot go on picking the bodies, that is when I went to roadblock. Roadblock is between Huruma and location 1. Between Huruma and location 1.
Did you pass that location?
Yes, I passed through roadblock. And as I said, I was told to identify myself by the youths who are directed the roadblock. At roadblock. Okay?
Just clarify for my better understanding. Who was manning the roadblock, that roadblock?
That roadblock, at roadblock was manned by Kalenjin warriors, Luyas, and Luos.
How many were there?
There were many. I didn't count, but there were many. Not 10, it's more than that. There were very many.
Would you say 20, 30, 60, more?
I could be 15. 15 or 20.
And how were they dressed?
Some were dressed ordinarily. Others had the red t-shirt. Yes, some with red t-shirt, others were dressing ordinarily. That they were in their civilian clothes.
Were they carrying anything with them?
Yes, they had pangas, prongus, and of course stones.
Could you understand which language they were speaking, if they were speaking at all?
They were speaking in Swahili.
Did they address you in Swahili?
Yes, they addressed me in Swahili.
Please tell us what they told you.
I was stopped. I was told to identify myself, not by saying, but by producing my identity card. That would show I'm the one on the picture, and these are my names. From the names, they are able to know whether I belong to the Kalenjin or I belong to the Kikuyu tribe. So I knew if I produced my identity card, they would automatically know that I'm a Kikuyu. So I hid my identification card and the telephone, because they would steal the telephone, and I told them everything has been taken away from me. I was told to do the same somewhere. And then I told them what was left in me is just this 100 shillings which was in the pocket. I showed them. They told me, bring that money. I gave them the money, and I was told to go ahead and go where I was going.
And what did you expect to happen if they knew that you were Kikuyu?
Probably I would have been killed, because I saw a body which was killed by them. Maybe they would kill me.
Were you alone at this roadblock, or there were other people present as well?
There were other people moving from the positions listed here, either location 1, 2, or up to even 6. But then I was the only person moving from town towards these other locations. The other people are moving from those locations towards town. but I was moving from town towards those locations. Locations 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
And who were these other people who were moving in the opposite direction?
These were people of different tribes. Some were Luyas, others were Kikuyus, all carrying their belongings, leaving the residential areas, going to stay where there was security at Divisional Police Headquarters.
And what did you do next after having passed this roadblock?
I went to location 1.
Where specifically in location 1?
I went to my house.
And what was the state of your house when you got there?
The state of the house was all right. The houses were there. Everything was all right, but after some times, then the burning started again. After 11 a.m.
Where did the burning start again?
All the times it has been starting either from location 1, location 5, or 6.
Prosecutor, page 86, line 3, the word there, already, should be all right, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Proceed, please.
Let's focus on location number 1 for a moment. What happened after you saw the burning starting at location number 1? What did you do?
We continued doing what we were doing the other day. That's trying to prevent them from burning the houses by pelting them with stones.
Who is we? With whom were you at that time?
I was with the residents of location 1.
And were those residents the same residents that you mentioned before, the previous day?
Yes, these are the same residents.
And how did you prevent the burning of the houses?
We were trying to confront the warriors. They had arrows and bows. With us, we used the stones. And in some occasion, we used to overpower them until they ran back.
Which warriors are we talking about here?
We are talking about Kalenjin warriors.
How many were there that day?
The same number as the previous day.
How were they dressed?
the same. That is, some had t-shirts, others had shuka, and others were wearing ordinary clothes.
Were they carrying anything with them?
They were carrying rungus, bows and arrows, and pangas.
And what happened that day exactly?
That was a day of fighting. We fought throughout that day until we were overpowered. When I came back in the afternoon, the following day now,
What do you mean that you were overpowered? What happened?
this day we fought the whole day. The youths became more than the residents. And we found that we could not continue fighting them. That is what I mean, we were almost overpowered. That is on first. Before first,
After you realized that you were being overpowered, what did you do, you personally?
personally I decided I should. That day of that first I slept in my house. Following morning I did what I did. This is on first when we fought, and I found that we were overpowered. Even my houses were burnt down. So we decided to go all to Division of Police Headquarters. But it was burnt down.
Did you leave location number 1 that very day to go to Eldoret police station?
Yes, I left location 1 on 1st of January 2008 and went to live at Eldoret Divisional Headquarters.
And did you get to Eldoret straight, or something happened along the way?
Something happened along the way. I decided not to follow the route which I followed, that is the tarmac route, following the main road. There is an earth road which passes through a depot for petrol, and there is also a university campus. I decided to pass through that route, which I thought was safe. So on going to town, I used that earth road, and before I could go far, when I reached the Moi Eldoret West campus, I found a dead body at the gate of the university. Somebody was killed there. I saw the body having so many panga cuts on the head. As I followed that route and went straight to Eldoret Police Divisional Headquarters.
Thank you. Mr. President, I see that it's 4 o'clock. We can return with clarifications tomorrow, if you allow.
Thank you very much. And how much longer?
Not much, Your Honor. I think we will be completed by tea time, which I am advised is the first section of the hearing tomorrow.
So by 11 tomorrow you should be done.
We should be done. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Witness, we have come to the end of our sitting for today.
Sure.
but you will rejoin us tomorrow at 9:30. Overnight, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody because you're still a witness in the process of testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Blinds will come down.